Hello, my name is Nancy. I'm an educator, a lifelong learner, a mother, grandmother, a gardener, and I've written this book, Keeping Kids and Teens Safe and Happy, Helpful Tips for Parents and Grandparents. And this TV series, and now I've even made some TikTok videos, is about this book. I'm trying to raise awareness of preventable childhood drownings and preventable accidents, such as choking accidents, falls, all the different ways children get into trouble, and it happens quickly. So I'm trying to raise awareness, and I'm hoping you'll help me. Whatever your skill set is, if you're a good talker, if you're a content creator, maybe you can help me get the message out that there are so many accidents that happen to children and teens, and they are avoidable and they are preventable. So help me, and I hope we can save some lives. That's what this book is about, helping children and saving lives. It's broken up into two parts. The first part of the book is how to keep kids safe, and the second part of the book is all about how to keep kids happy, engaged, and healthy. And also during the show, I'll talk a little bit about me growing up in Brooklyn, because I think it's interesting and it's human interest. I had a great childhood. I lived as a child in Old Mill Base in Brooklyn on East 52nd Street in a two-family house filled with Italian family members, and it was lots of fun. We had a lot of laughter and good food. Relatives would come from all over Brooklyn and friends, and they would eat with us and have fun with us and laugh, and it was a great childhood. It was a middle-class neighborhood. Both of them were, Marine Park as well as Old Mill Base, in the middle-class neighborhoods, even today. And a lot of firemen, policemen, nurses, teachers, business owners, lawyers live in that area, and still today, as I said. But I had a unique childhood in that we had a lot of different friends from other religions, and there was never any problem. We had Jewish friends, Christians of other denominations, and it was wonderful because we all got along, and we were all friends, and religion was never an issue, and that's how it should be. There was lots of diversity in that part of Brooklyn. My husband and I have lifelong Jewish friends, so I've been to bar mitzvahs, I've been to Jewish weddings, and they're still our friends today. Unfortunately, we lost one of our Jewish friends, and I was at a Jewish funeral as well. So this is what growing up in Brooklyn gave to me. It gave to me relationships with people from all different Christian denominations and also of different faiths. Today, one of the topics we're going to talk about is the importance of being weather aware. And it's very important when you're spending time outdoors to be aware of not only what the weather is when you leave the house, but looking ahead to what is forecast for the rest of the day. Because people get into trouble because they don't heed the warnings, but also they don't know that weather changes quickly. And so you have to know what the weather is throughout the day, and weather apps can help you find out about that. But I'd like to read a little bit from this chapter, Chapter 8, Be Weather Aware. When going camping, boating, spending a day at the beach or hiking, picnicking, or spending time in outdoor settings, it is important to be weather aware. Weather can change suddenly, and sometimes certain weather events, such as thunderstorms, can happen suddenly and are difficult to predict, especially summer storms, even for meteorologists. Install and follow weather apps on your cell phone and be aware before an outing of the possible weather scenarios that can develop. Now, those of you who live in Connecticut may remember that there was an unusual severe rainstorm in August 2024 in parts of Connecticut. If you looked at the radar that day, the weather radar, it seemed that this rainstorm had just stalled over parts of Connecticut. Some areas received 10 to 12 inches of heavy rain in a matter of hours. Those thunderstorms and potential for flash flooding were forecasted for that day. The excessive rainfall amounts were not. And as I said, from observing weather radar, it appeared the thunderstorms had stalled. There was extensive flooding in neighborhoods, and some roads and small bridges washed away or were damaged in a matter of hours. Sadly, two women lost their lives on flooded roads. According to experts, over half of all flood-related drownings happen when people drive cars into flooded roads, roads. It is dangerous to walk or drive in flooded waters. A meteorologist years ago coined the phrase, "Don't drown, turn around." Sound advice. It only takes 12 inches of rushing water to wash away cars and 24 inches for SUVs or trucks. Emergency warnings on cell phones, on my cell phone, was going off all day during that catastrophic rainfall event. It's important to sign up for emergency alerts and warnings, keep emergency warnings turned on your phone, and take the warnings seriously and heed them. Sadly, those two women who died in Connecticut, I'm not sure if they had the weather alerts on their phone, if they knew it and they just ignored it, but you never ignore weather alerts. You pay attention. Also, boaters really need to hear this story. It's a difficult story to hear, but if you rent a boat or you're the owner of a boat, you have to be very aware that weather can change when you're on a boat, and it can change drastically and within a matter of hours. And this is a very sad story, but I'm highlighting it because I want boaters to be aware that it is crucial, especially when you're responsible for other people, to pay attention not only to the weather when you leave the marina, but you have to, throughout the day, keep updating yourself and knowing what happens. This story happened in June 21st, 2025. A sudden storm on Lake Tahoe, on California's side of Lake Tahoe, caused a boat to capsize. When it left the marina, the weather was calm, but the storm became fierce quickly. It was a 28-foot boat. It capsized when it was hit with 10-foot waves. 8 people tragically died. How sad is that? And they were celebrating a birthday. The only survivors had life jackets on. So life jackets are crucial when you're boating. Only a slight chance of thunderstorms were forecasted for that day, but the weather changed suddenly, surprising even meteorologists. Boaters have to be weather aware, all of us. Weather can change suddenly. There is an excellent story about that tragic day online at thenewyorktimes.com. I believe all boaters should read it. It's titled, "How a Beautiful Day on Lake Tahoe Suddenly Turned Deadly." You can find it easily online. I'm not kidding when I say that I think parents should study weather as a hobby. It's important to be weather aware and to know about weather patterns. Whether you'll be outdoors hiking, boating, or a day at the beach, set updates throughout the day. Make sure you know them. There are marine weather apps for boaters, and it's important on any boat to have them. Some recommended apps are windy.com, a windy app, Aquamap, Predict Wind, and Windfinder, among others. Also, WHF radios should be tuned into NOAA, NOAA, weather channels and broadcasts. So I hope all boaters will heed that. There's also another horrific story in the book, which I'll discuss at another time, that happened in Italy as well, which, again, it was a sudden storm. It came out of nowhere. So now for something a little bit lighter, I'm going to discuss something from the second part of the book, keeping kids happy, healthy, and engaged. And in other shows, I've discussed the importance of sunlight, getting out in early morning and absorbing the rays of the sun. Even 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes will help. It'll help your vitamin D levels. So I've spoken about that. I also, in the last show, spoke about the benefits of nature, being outdoors. Nature calms human beings down. It helps us to feel better, more relaxed, more at peace. If you're having a bad day or your children had a bad day, go for a walk with them in sunshine, even if it's later in the day. But walking in nature is very helpful, and it will calm them down and it'll calm you down. Also, walking after dinner is very good too because it helps digestion. So those are some of the topics I've already spoken about. And now I'm going to speak about the importance of being grateful. And this is a quote from the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. A grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts to itself great things. Since there are also benefits to think about what you are grateful for each day, you can have a journal and you can write down what you or your children are grateful for, or your children can write down what they're grateful for, and young children can doodle and you can write down what they tell you. People who intentionally think or write down what they are grateful for are happier, according to studies. I think that's an amazingly simple way to feel happier, is to just write down or think about what you are grateful for. It enhances happiness. It can be a simple exercise, such as stating, I am grateful for these things, and naming them, or you can write them down. Another suggestion I've heard is to write down each week the best thing that happened to you in a particular week. Have your children do the same. It can make for stimulating conversation with your children, asking them to recall the best thing that happened during the week. The end of the year, you can read through those memorable experiences and reflect on those happy memories. We take so much for granted. I was thinking about this, that even our five senses sometimes we take for granted, right? That we have the ability to see and hear and smell and touch and taste. And so stress that with your children, that they should appreciate their five senses and use their five senses to see beauty in the world and to see goodness in the world. And that will help them throughout their lives. I also remember Oprah Winfrey, when she had her show, and she still talks about it in interviews, about how important gratitude was for her in her life. Actually, she said gratitude was the single most important life practice for her. She had a gratitude journal, and she was faithful to writing in that journal. So consider that. Consider getting a journal, journaling yourself, or having your children journal about what they are grateful for. Another topic that brings happiness to families, and it's very simple, is eating dinner together as a family as often as possible. I know this is very difficult in the age that we live in this modern age. Children are involved in sports. They have practices. They have to go to dance lessons, tennis lessons, all different kinds of things that take them away from the dinner table. But whenever you can, it's very important to eat dinner as a family. There have been many benefits that have been spoken about this simple thing. In today's modern world, eating together as a family is not always possible, but families should prioritize it. It goes without saying, it's important to teach children to chew their food carefully, of course, and mindfully. But mealtime is a great time to converse, talk about the day's events, and keep the lines of communication open in your family, which is crucial. Teach children to listen attentively to others as they speak. Listening intently to each family member sharing their experiences, problems, challenges, frustrations, and interactions, and giving encouragement can all be part of dinner conversation. Everyone at the table should feel comfortable sharing. When I was growing up, my father liked to discuss current events at dinner, and it gave me a lifelong interest in local, national, and international news. Stories are engaging, so a funny or interesting story can be shared and enjoyed. Try to avoid discussion at the dinner table about a topic which can cause tension, aggravation, ridicule, judgment, or anger. So that's some of the topics you want to avoid. No fighting, of course, only a peaceful, loving family interactions at the dinner table. I would like you to feel free to email me. My website is keepingkidsandteensafeandhappy.com. If you have any suggestions, topics you'd like me to cover, there is a lot of topics in this book, so eventually I'll get to everything. But if you have something you want me to concentrate on or you think is important, please email me. Check out my website. It's a work in progress. It's not completed yet. There's a very good recipe on there for homemade chicken soup, which I will be covering the topic of good nutrition in the future. It's so important to have good nutrition for children and adults. But check out my website, and as I said, I will keep adding to it in the future. And every show I will end with these final thoughts and blessings. Also, please read the special dedication at the end of this show. My book and this series is dedicated to children. Some final thoughts and hope for all of us. May I live with peace, and may you live with peace. May I live with goodness, and may you live with goodness. May I be kind to others, and may you be kind to others. May I be healing presence for others, and may you be a healing presence for others. May I find meaning in my life and purpose, and may you find meaning and purpose in your life. May I remember to be grateful, and may you remember to be grateful. I would like to thank Western Connecticut Community TV for their training and support. And thank you to all of you for watching this show and helping me. I appreciate it. See you next time.